Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. It's been quite a day around here. I want to thank you for coming today to learn about this graphic that I created. For the past couple of years, I've been really at a point where I'm trying to recreate my life. I had a very major part of my life, 15 years of my life, I was being a mom and a married woman, staying at home and kind of serving my family as my main role. And when that fell apart in a divorce, I then had to kind of figure out what I was doing. So I spent a lot of time in the past 3 years going through a lot of self reflection. And one of the first things I came upon in my grasping for things to help, because I was pretty I guess the word would be discombobulated at the time. But one of the things I found when I started looking for all of this was the law of attraction. And so I would go onto YouTube and I would listen to Esther Hicks and I would listen to her talk about, how to manifest everything that you could possibly want and how you just have to stay positive and you just have to be in alignment with the things that you're asking for. And I would try and I would try and I would try. It was like the hardest thing ever for me to even envision some of the things I wanted coming true. And I would take little tiny goals. I would see if I could get them to manifest. And what I began to realize was that it's not so simple. It's not just one thing. It's not just envisioning what you want and being in a high vibration and waiting for it to happen. Although I can see how there's a little bit of that, and I can see how ultimately, once a person gets to the point where they are starting to realize what they've been putting into their vortex, as Esther Hicks calls it, or Abraham Hicks calls it, you can look back and be like, oh, I see. All I did was just, match the vibration of what I wanted. And I guess maybe at the end it makes sense. But when you're at the beginning and you're trying to figure out what on earth am I supposed to do with this? Like, how do I figure out what do I want and how do I get myself there? What is the action part of it? And so, after playing with all of this for over 3 years and doing a lot of healing work, like a lot of healing work, and combining all of the things I've known from the past through shamanism and energy work and yoga and spiritual philosophies. The other day I woke up and I just had this boom. It was just this picture in my mind's eye of a graphic that kind of combines all of the things that I have learned and I think will be a very useful tool for people who are maybe at the beginning of that or just at a stage where they're beginning to transition. And so I'm going to use this tool and I'm going to keep it, I'll explain it to you in a minute, but I'm going to keep it where I can see it every day, but still private because uh, a typical vision board, which is pretty much what we're going to be doing today, a typical vision board is usually a piece of cardboard, oak tag, poster board. And on that vision board, we usually put pictures because it's vision, it's visual representations. We put pictures of the things that we wish. So, I mean, like, even if you look behind me, there's my future sailboat. There's my tropical palm tree. My dog's right over here. But the visuals of what we love, they hold energy. Everything is energy, and so they hold the energy of what we wish. And when we see those, we're reminded of that little ooh, I can't wait to be back on a sailboat. Ooh, I love the water. Oh God, I can't wait to feel the warmth of the tropics. They're little reminders that help to kind of bump us up, almost like if you think about a heartbeat, on a monitor, like an EKG. They bump us up to those levels of vibration for a quick minute. So a vision board, the idea behind it, if you think about it energetically, is to have a visual representation that you frequently see so that you can frequently feel the vibration of all the things that you're wishing to have, which you have put onto that vision board in a very symbolic way of some sort. So um, the idea behind a vision board, I think, is fantastic. Hey, it's 11:11. I just looked at the time. The idea of a vision board is fantastic. I think it's super important for us to actually gather our goals, gather our wishes and our dreams, and put them in one spot, and not just put them in a spot and put them away somewhere where we don't get to see them very often. I've done that before, where I've put them in journals and I've drawn doodles and little sayings, and then you close the journal up, you close the cover of it and you stick it on a pile, and it just becomes another piece of what you kind of put there at one time. But if you're not revisiting it all the time, it's like planting a seed in the ground and never watering it and never giving it the light that it needs to grow. So A vision board is supposed to be something that you're looking at often. I do feel as though in my personal life with the home that I share with my children and people coming in and out of it, that there would be very few places where I could put an actual vision board and not feel like the whole world is kind of in my business. And I am more private about what the things are that are in my heart and in my desires. And I mean, some of them I'm not, but some of them I am. And so some of them I actually, like, to be honest, a little confessional here. Some of the things that I dream of that I want on my vision board, I feel like if another person saw it, they would laugh at me and they'd be like, "Pff, good luck with that," and they would minimize or devalue my dreams and my visions. And so for me to put those things out there to anyone else to see, I feel like it's going to steal energy from it. So I kind of want this to be a private enough thing that I'm able to look at it often enough and have it be a reminder and those little boosts of energy where I kind of connect to the vibration of the things that I like. I'd like to be able to look at it on a daily basis, but I also don't want it to be out in the open somewhere and like so big that anyone who walks into my bedroom or my bathroom or my home office or whatever will be privy to it. um, I still want that to be mine in a way, my baby. And so I created this thing that again was just kind of like it popped into my head the other day how perfect it is. Hopefully you'll find it perfect as well. I'm going to do a little screen share here. So let me just pop this up here. I'll just be talking for now. So the idea of a turtle came into my head and the turtle's shell and how important it is. So before you look at all the little words, just go with the great big picture here of the turtle shell and its head. And so when we think about turtle, especially in Native American tradition, a turtle is the representation of Mother Earth in a way. So it's like there's an old story that turtle carries Mother Earth on her back. She carries the continents on her back, the earth energy on her back, but she's also able to slip easily between earth and water. And so I do believe that manifesting is a combination of earth energy and water energy, and also some ether, some dreamy visual energy too. But if you think about how we get things to manifest here on earth, the things that are super key to manifesting, we are trying to bring something to earth. So having a spot to put it on earth, having a connection to earth energy is really, really important. So that's half of the total energy is the earth energy, grounding it down here on this 3D plane, on this earth, the most lofty of ideas. How do we get those lofty dreams and ideas to actually funnel down and become the house or the career or the children or the husband or wife or the, you name it, the boat, the freedom that we feel in living daily life unburdened. So all of those earthy things are part of the earth energy. And then also the way that we manifest things is through our emotions. If you think about using our heart, our strongest energy of creating something is through our emotions. And so if you think about how some of the most profound things have been created based on strong emotions. Strong anger and strong hatred are destructive forces. Strong love will bring people together and heal. Strong joy can just make a whole room light up and feel great. People coming together at something like a concert and being able to sing words, just that emotion of feeling so connected, so in love and joy and happy. It's this creative energy that's infused into that feeling space. And feelings are generally connected to water energy. Water is known to be a feely place. So for me, the symbolism of a turtle is combining the earth energy and the water energy together, because bringing them together and uniting them is how we can find the power to manifest. And that's what a vision board is for, is giving us a direction so that we can manifest the things that we're putting on it. So in the same way that turtle carries the earth energy on her back, the back of this turtle, the shell of this turtle right here, is where all of the graphics or pictures or words, whatever you want to manifest, is going to go right in here. And we'll talk about that in a little bit, how we get to that actual point. Before we do that, we are going to center ourselves so that we can know that we're being in our heart and not just in our ego. So we're going to do that in a little bit. And, obviously it's something that you can continue to add to on a continual basis. I do recommend that you make multiple copies of this. And you could even make copies where the little words like mantras and gratitude aren't there, but the words you're actually going to put there are in the white space that you create. So if it fits everybody's needs and you would like a blank copy of this that doesn't have the little instructions in it, and you would rather have it with blank spots, I can try to create that for you and send it off to you via email. Or what you can do is even just take this piece, put it up to a window with another piece of paper over top of it, trace the shape of the turtle, and then create your own blank images from there, like a blank space to work on. So the shell of the turtle is the space where we're going to actually put the things we want to manifest. And remembering to, as we're creating something with this turtle shape, the purpose of turtle, that turtle is the animal in Native American culture that represents Mother Earth, or like bringing earth energy down, connecting earth and water, the ability to live in two places. You'll notice that there's a real thick black line around the outside of the shell. And I've indicated right here that the reason for that is because our ideas still need to have their energy protected. So in order to create these things, we have to make sure that our energy isn't getting leached out, sucked away, diverted, distracted, stolen by other people. So the shell here, the outside of the shell, is a reminder that we need boundaries. We need personal boundaries so that we know how to keep our energy focused on ourselves. I am a person who will easily give my energy out to other people. If you ask me to do something for you, I'll be right on it. If you want me to be a volunteer and on your committee, I'll definitely contribute my help. And I kind of tend to do this thing where I give other people my energy and I forget to hold it back for me. And then I'll look back and say, gosh, I didn't accomplish that goal and I didn't get this done and I haven't spent much time doing that. And it's because my boundaries aren't always great. I need to remember to keep my shell intact. Like if you want to manifest in this way and you want to use this vision board for forward movement and you want to keep it as concentrated as possible, you need to have boundaries around that. And that's boundaries of obligations and commitments to people. So being careful of how you're scheduling your day and how much time are you spending on yourself and on these things that you're trying to manifest. And that doesn't necessarily mean like the nitty gritty working. We'll talk about that too in the future, but how much energy are you diverting away from yourself and how much are you actually keeping to yourself? And, different times of our lives, this is easier than others. If you're a mother or a father of small children, I mean, sometimes it's just the reality of being in that part of your life where, your boundaries do have to be kind of weak because other people actually need you for their food and their shelter, and you got to pay the bills, you have to go to work, So just being cautious about boundaries and knowing how to protect your own boundaries, how to just politely and kindly say no. Something that's popping into my head right now is the boundary of being distracted by social media. Very often I'll go online because there's something that I want to accomplish or there's an inspiration that I have. And simply by clicking on my inbox and seeing that I have emails, I'll get very distracted. And instead of doing the thing I was meant to do, I get pushed into this other direction. And after a while I sit down and go, gosh, that's not even why I opened my computer. I didn't even open it to go on there and do that. So thinking about the boundaries of social media, what happens when we tune into Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those apps, and even just checking your email. So I also believe part of the boundary situation is how we choose to spend our day. So in what ways are we filling up our bucket? How are you protecting your boundaries when it comes to food? What are you putting into your body that's going to help you have the good enough, high enough vibration inside of you that the things on this turtle shell are going to happen? And so boundaries and energy, we can talk a lot more about that in depth in a separate class if you'd like to. But for right now, just remembering that that's what the circle outside of the turtle is for. It's for reminding you that there are boundaries that are necessary to keep your dreams in place. So we're going to go, we're going to talk for just a second about the title of this page, which is, it's a vision board of Mother Goddess energy. And so whether you're a female or a male, I think this applies to everyone. If you think about mother is, and goddess, mother, women goddesses, they are where the creative energy is found. So we are able to create another human from our bodies. We have this creative energy, which is the feminine essence. Um, and the mother part of it is the nurturing. So while you want to be able to create something here on your vision board and then bring it into actual reality and manifest it, there's this mothering, this like nurturing that has to be done. And that means paying attention, giving time and energy and so much love to the things that you're dreaming of, combining that with hope and faith and belief. And then there's this goddess part of it that has to do with worthiness, pardon me. A goddess knows that she is worthy of all wonderfulness, of all good blessings, because she is innately connected to her godlike energy, the essence of who we are born to be here on earth. We don't come here just to be little minions walking around and doing jobs and paying bills and trying to survive. We're here to be goddesses and gods, and to harness that energy and be an explicit expression of divine creation. So the reason I put those words on there, even though they might not be necessary, is because whenever I look at this document, I want to be reminded of those words: mother, the nurturing of that, the goddess part of it. And so for me, visually, so far, those words in the shape of the turtle already have so much meaning without me even putting anything on the turtle's back, like remembering that there's a boundary there of my energy. So I'm hoping that this document for you is as worthwhile as it is for me. I started talking a little earlier about how I don't want my vision board to be out in a more public space, like in my home where other people can see it. The reason I made this as an 8.5 by 11 is because I'm going to keep it inside my medicine cabinet. I have a medicine cabinet right next to my large mirror, where in the morning, that's where I pull all my stuff out, my moisturizers and deodorant, perfume, all that stuff. And so I know that when I open that door, I already have some inspirational quotes on there. But whenever I open that door to the medicine cabinet, I'm going to use that time as I'm brushing my teeth or getting myself ready to be looking at this. So instead of looking at my phone or being distracted by whatever's going on, this is where I'm going to focus my energy every morning. And then every night before I go to bed as well, as I'm brushing my teeth, getting myself ready for bed, and then maybe even throughout the day. So I don't know if that tip works for you or not, but to keep it somewhere that you can see it often. And again, for me, it's kind of keeping it not hidden away, because I'm not embarrassed by anything that's going to be on here, but just in a way that feels kind of private and personal to me, as I'm taking care of myself and nurturing myself with that mother goddess energy, oiling my body, brushing my teeth, caring for myself. I'm also going to be looking at these things. So it's almost like a match when it comes to nurturing, caring for something, cultivating it, growing it, being that creator of something. Then I'm going to be looking at this as well. So I feel like it all matches together, at least for me. Up here on the heart, I did put that this is about a union of me and God, because what I do feel sometimes happens, or has happened to me in the past, is when I have these dreams and these desires, there's a part of me that feels like it isn't spiritual to have desires like having a sailboat. That seems like a material thing that's just, it's excessive and I don't need that, but if I remember that this work is a union between me and God, and how I feel when I'm connected to God, and that God would want me to be on that sailboat, feeling light and free and in that loving vibration, because that is the closest thing to God. It is one of my closest experiences to being one with divinity, is when I'm on the water, when I feel that freedom of being out where I can't see land, where I see the blue water and the fish jumping out of it. And so for me, the things that are going to go on the shell of the turtle are things that make me feel like I am epitomizing God on earth, or heaven on earth feelings. The things that I know will help me to realize even more what it's like to be creating heaven on earth, not just living on earth and looking to heaven, but to actually bring heaven and earth together. And so that's why I put this heart here. That's just a reminder that there's a certain way that I feel, a certain high, the highest vibration ever, this like samadhi, blissful state, when I'm connected most to freedom and love and God and all things that are divine for me. So that's kind of the overview of what the shapes are on the page. And then if we just want to start looking at the different um, areas on here, we're going to go to the head last because that's kind of a little bit more in depth. But let's start down here with the bottom. So I was talking earlier about how a turtle is a connection between earth energy and water energy. And so just as a reminder to myself, I wrote, stay grounded. What I tend to do, I'm a Pisces and I'm a dreamer and I'm a creative. And I'm super just, I feel like I'm very expansive in my thinking. I always want to be thinking about what if and how about and what if, just all these expansive ways of thinking. So what that does sometimes is it pulls us out of our bodies and up into our head, like up into the mind, up into this thinking space. That's not the heart, and it's not grounded down on earth. It's kind of out there in this lofty space out in the ethers. And so staying grounded for me is really important, which is why I think God brought yoga into my life, because it is one of the most grounding activities I do. I walk a lot, I hike a lot, and I do yoga. And so those things keep me grounded. They keep me connected to my physical body, to my breath, to my physical structure of my arms and my legs and my heart beating, and my eyes working and my ears listening to the sounds around me. So staying grounded is an incredibly important thing, because if we are not grounded here on earth, how will the blessings come? How will they know how to be delivered? It's like not having a mailbox and ordering something online. If you don't have a place for the mail to be delivered, that package to be delivered, you're not going to get it. So you have to stay grounded. We have to stay anchored down here in our space on earth, the place that we've claimed for ourselves, the place that we were birthed. Like, we were birthed into this earth plane for a reason. It was to be here and to experience this life. So staying grounded is really important. And then remembering also the symbol of the turtle, that slow and steady is what gets us where we're going. Slow and steady and small steps. For me, I sometimes just want to jump to the end result. I'm like, I don't see why this can't just be this way. But you have to back up sometimes and realize that we are in a 3D space. Time and space exist here in this 3D plane, whether we like it or not. And that slower plane, it's slower than how our soul exists. Like, our soul knows that everything is possible in this instant. Just like Abraham Hicks, when she talks about, or Esther Hicks, when she talks with Abraham through her about how whenever you desire something, it is already there for you. It is already created, it is already manifested in your vortex, and all you have to do is find your way to it, or allow it to find its way to you. So same thing, slow and steady means that we have to remember that even though we're able to manifest things on the mental plane, the spiritual plane instantly, on this physical plane, it does take a little longer. And I have found that one of the things that keeps me most from my manifestations is judgment of myself, that I'm not there yet. I haven't done enough. I'm not working hard enough. It hasn't come yet. If it hasn't come yet, then it must not be meant to be. If it hasn't come yet, it's because I'm not worthy of it. If it's not here yet and I haven't seen evidence of it, then it must not exist. It must not be working. I must be alone. And then that's where anxiety and depression can set in for a lot of people. So the reminder for me on this graphic to go slow and steady is incredibly important, because I know how I am. I know that I will jump. I will jump out of my body, out into my wishes, desires, and dreams. And I will think that they are out there when they are truly right here. They are right here if I can just get close enough to them, if I can stay grounded and bring heaven to earth, bring my wishes to me, find my vibrational alignment, my highest vibration, so that those things that are high vibrational that I've put in here can come and match me. So what I'm going to quick do is hop up to the top right here where it says stay in high vibe, since I'm already talking about that. The reason I put this on the front leg of the turtle is because in order for us to manifest things, we have to be in a high vibrational place. We have to have, if you're thinking about a radio tuner, we have to match our internal tuner, who we are as this radiant being, this radiant ball of energy. We have to match our tuner to the tuner of the things that we've desired, that we've put into this turtle shell. So if I am wishing to have a house on the beach, that I wake up every morning, look out at the ocean with my coffee in my hand, I know how amazing that feels for me. If I don't feel equally as amazing consistently here in this present moment of today, right here and now, then I am not a vibrational match for that thing, and it will not appear to me. And so staying in the highest vibration that I can all day long, every day, will make me a more consistent match for the things that I want. It'll make me be the match to the type of love that I want to receive, the type of friendships that I want to be a part of, the type of jobs that come my way, the type of conversations I have via social media, the people I run into at a grocery store, how many smiles I receive. If I'm grumpy and depressed, I can't expect to go out into public and have people smiling back at me. I need to be that match. I need to be the light and the joy and the love and the freedom that I want to see from other people. So this top leg right here, staying high vibe. Um, if you want to get rid of those words, I think it's a good reminder to have them there, but you might want to actually put the things that keep you in high vibration. What makes you feel good? What kind of music should you listen to? You, not any person, but you. What kind of music makes you feel really good? What kind of food makes you feel best? What kind of exercise makes you feel really good? What kind of people do you surround yourself with to make yourself feel the best that you can possibly feel? The more you do this, the more you can stay high vibrational, the better quality of life you have. Even if the things on the turtle shell aren't quite there yet, you will still feel amazing. My question is, why not do this? Why don't we do this? I don't even have an answer. Why don't we stay as high vibrational as we can? My thought is that very often we are triggered by the outside influences, and the outside influences don't want us to be high vibrational. They prefer us low vibrational because we're easier to manipulate and control if we're on the low vibrational end of things. If we're high vibing, we are independent, we are sovereign, we have all that we need, we feel full already. We are not going out to buy more crap. We're not seeking any kind of outside approval from anybody or validation from anyone. We're not worried about what clothes we're wearing, how pretty we are, what weight we're at, what kind of car we're driving, because we feel so good in that high vibration that we are self-sustaining. And that, in this type of matrix that we live in, isn't a match. So the matrix that we live in is constantly feeding us information to keep us away from our highest vibration. That's a whole other workshop we can go into as well. So staying high vibe, you can keep those words there, or if you're going to make a trace of this or a copy of this on your own and get rid of that, maybe put some of the ideas in there, or just put them around the outside of that front leg, like, the kind of music you like, people, just kind of give yourself some tips and ideas and start your day that way. So for me, if I'm going to put this in my medicine cabinet and look at this every morning, then the music I'm going to put on my phone while I'm looking at it is going to be high vibrational music, or it's going to be something off of YouTube that makes me feel really inspired, not something that brings me down. It's not going to be the news. It's not going to be the trash stuff on Facebook or people arguing with each other. It's going to be stuff that makes me feel expansive and enlightened and hopeful and clear. It's going to feel really good. So from there, I'm going to pop down. I guess we can go either direction. We could go, let's go over to mantras and gratitude, because it sort of sounds the same as that. So the things that keep you in the high vibration are often mantras and having gratitude. So there are so many mantras out there. You can Google anything that you need. You can just Google mantras for tranquility, mantras for love, mantras for financial abundance. I mean, you Google it, you'll find them, and you can find them in just regular English language. You can find them in Sanskrit. You can come up with your own. Sometimes I say to myself over and over again, I am a sovereign being. I am a sovereign being. I am a sovereign being. And after I say that 25 times, my shoulders relax and I realize, okay, so nothing that's going on outside of me even has to have an effect on me. Like, creating your own mantras is really powerful because they are directly connected to your own experience and the way that your mind and heart function as it is. Gratitude, I mean, so many studies have been done about this. Gratitude is the thing that puts you in your highest vibration. If you are ever feeling low, all you need to do I apologize, but my phone is ringing and I cannot seem to get it to stop. Just hold on one second. We'll live and learn about that. Didn't think that was going to happen. I thought my phone was on silent. Still connected to my computer apparently. So anyway, so gratitude has been proven to be, first of all, it comes from the heart. Gratitude comes from our heart, and our heart is our strongest force. It creates the biggest electromagnetic field in our body. It is the strongest part of that. And so if you can go into your heart and have gratitude for anything and everything at all, that is definitely where your power lies. Let's see, and then we can pop down to, hold on one second. We're going to pop down to, okay, how to change that. So we're going to pop down to what brings down my vibe, because that just makes the the next most sense. If you know up on this flipper up here, this leg, what keeps you in a high vibration, then you also know what brings down your vibe. And staying again with these boundaries that go around your dreams and wishes, what brings you down is really, really important, because the thing is sometimes we're addicted to things and we don't realize that they bring down our vibration, or we've been doing things for so long, we have a pattern, and we are such creatures of habit that we'll continually do something even if it brings down our vibration, because it's comfortable, it's familiar, it's just what we do. So this is often the people that we hang out with. It's hard to break up with people or to disconnect from relationships because of loyalty, family. There's all these other like mental restrictions that we put on things. But if somebody or something is lowering your vibration, you have to have the courage to step away from it. And what I tell my clients is, tell yourself you're stepping away just for a little bit, because to entirely break up with people or situations or Facebook or I don't know, the news, whatever it might be, or the wine that you drink too much of after dinner, or the dessert that you can't stop having. To break up with something in a big way feels really daunting. And we often move away from things that are daunting. Like too big of a challenge can scare us away. But if we can just do it in small doses and say, you know what, I'm going to take the Facebook app, the little icon on my phone, and I'm going to move it from the first page all the way back. So I have to scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll until I actually can get to the little icon. Um, then I'm going to go on Facebook less often. So because I'm going to have to go through those steps to get to it, I know that I'm not going to just automatically open my phone and my thumb's going to go to it and it's going to be this like automatic response where I'm on it for 20 minutes when I shouldn't be. If it's things like that, or things like I'm going to not buy my usual wine when I go out today, so that today after dinner I don't even have the chance to have it because it's not in my house. You know, just simple things like that. But knowing what brings down your vibration, and if it's people, it might be just telling somebody, you know what, I'm going through something right now and I need a little time to myself, but I'll reconnect with you when I'm feeling better. You don't have to be rude or mean about it when you cut people off, but just step away. Just step away for a little while, because you never know, in that time that you've stepped away, you might have a lot of clarity come up and you might be able to make decisions in a lot better mindset when you do that. So knowing what brings down your vibe is incredibly important, and knowing how to manage that. So keeping in mind the boundaries that have to go with that, and really guarding what is best for you. So in order to stay in your high vibe, you need to know what brings down your vibe too. And then the last part I'm going to talk about before we move up to the head is paying attention to your feelings. So I think sometimes what happens is we get a really strong feeling about something and we forget to pay attention to it. So even when it comes to filling in this shell of the things that you really, really love, paying attention to your feelings is really important. Let's go with jealousy for an example. If you feel jealousy is a feeling that's pretty distinct and pretty noticeable. Like you can recognize it really easily inside of you. So if you feel jealous about something, if you see somebody posting something online that you're really jealous of, or that they've accomplished something and you're like, God, like I started doing that, I never finished it. Like I really wanted to do that too. That jealousy is a gift. It is a huge guide for you to go in a certain direction. If we don't care about something, it's really easy to walk away from it. So if you see things and they don't trigger you, you know that they're not signposts, they're not guideposts for you, they're not important, they're not significant. But if you see something that triggers you, just stop, pay attention and say, wow, I am feeling really triggered right now. You could try to name the feeling or emotion. Like, I feel jealous right now. I'm actually envious of what that person just posted. Why is that? And then be willing to go into the feeling. Don't bypass it. Don't judge yourself for it. Don't say, oh, I'm such a jerk because I'm jealous. No, the jealousy is a gift. The jealousy is you, in that situation, knowing that there's something that you really want that you've been denying yourself of. And so that's a signpost. That's a thing saying, go that way, go that way, go that way. She went that way. You can too. Just because she did doesn't mean you can't also. It's okay for many of us to be doing the same things, because we're each doing it with our own
our own flavor, our own like special essence is added to the way that we're going to do something. Things like jealousy, envy, joy. If you look at a picture of something that you did 5 years ago and you think how happy you were doing that thing, and you begin to long for it or miss it, that's an indication that you need to bring it back into your life. Find time for that thing again. If you miss reading, you talk to somebody who's talking about a book that they just read, and you feel kind of resentful because you're like, gosh, I wish I could sit down and read a book. Those feelings are super important. Go into resentful. What is making you feel resentful about that? So important, important, important. And the reason I put it on this mother goddess energy paper is because knowing those feelings helps us to make choices that'll take us in a positive direction. It'll lead us toward our goals and aspirations and ambitions that are going to be on the back of this turtle shell. So about ready to finish up here, but the very last thing. So the last part of this vision board is something that's really personal to me. So I put it on the head because I feel like it's the most important thing. I put it on the head of the turtle because if I were to fill this shell with all the things that I long for and desire and want in my life, the things I am envisioning for my future, the things that are going to fill me up the most, it is my head, my own head, that is going to screw with me the most. It is the thing that it's where the ego lives, right? So the ego is going to tell me all kinds of things about how impossible they are, how, oh, you're dreaming, or gosh, that's going to require an awful lot of money that you don't have, my dear. Or you don't even know anybody who does that. So how are you ever going to learn how to do it? There's just my head and my ego will mess with me like crazy. So in order to reverse the workings of my mind, the way that it's been, we can even say programmed to work, how the human mind is programmed. I learned recently the technique of Ho'oponopono, which is it's an ancient Hawaiian practice about forgiveness. And for me, it has a lot of meaning, which is why it's on here. All of those thoughts, the things of the ego in Ho'oponopono are considered to be data. You don't even judge them. They're just thoughts. Everything that is a thought, you just recognize as a thought. You say, I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. And so it's a whole process that I learned, but essentially what it's doing is it's taking all of that data, all of that misinformation, and pretty much everything around us is misinformation because it's not God. And going back up to this union of me and God, I know how God feels. God feels pure. It feels clean. It feels unattached. It feels like absolute expansion and bliss. So anything that's not expansion and bliss, or just a state of complete divine connection, is data. I mean, truly, even the stuff that we're going to put on the shell is data, essentially. Like we've been programmed to think that having the things we're going to put here is going to make us feel more happy. But that's a whole other level. So for me, Ho'oponopono, to clean on the things that I'm putting in here, would mean that if I put, we'll take the sailboat, if I put a sailboat right here, as something that I wish to own in the future, travel on, spend a year on in the future, my ego is going to say things to me like the things I just said. You don't even know how to sail. You don't know anybody with a sailboat. How are you going to afford a sailboat? How are you going to leave your children for a year? Even if they're 18, 20, and 22, how are you going to leave them for a year to go on a sailboat? That's irresponsible. This head thing is going to mess with me in a big way. As soon as I start to apply Ho'oponopono to that situation, I start to just ask for forgiveness for anything that is not in alignment with the divinity of that idea. So my idea of being on a boat, feeling free, feeling expansive, being with the water, to me, that does feel like bliss. It truly does inside of me. It feels like one of the most amazing things I could experience here in this lifetime on this earth. And so anything that's not aligned with that really high vibrational feeling that I know I have felt and will feel again, anything that's getting in the way of that is trash, or it's data, or it's thoughts, or it's falsehoods. So using Ho'oponopono, which is a method, like a thing that I'm certified to do, will help me to clean away anything that isn't a truth, anything that isn't the essence of the divinity that I will feel in that experience. And so I will use Ho'oponopono to clean. If that doesn't resonate with you because you haven't practiced Ho'oponopono or learned about it, you can put something in that headspace that just says, maybe something like, why not? Why not me? Or um, no doubt, no fear. Like, don't doubt that the stuff's going to happen. Don't fear it. Any of the information that's going to come in to try to deter you from your believing that you're going to get it, that's what we're trying to clear out here. We're trying to clear away any doubt, negativity, fear generated by the mind, by the ego. And so, um, I guess in conclusion, because it's been about 45 minutes here, in conclusion, we can go over this one more time. So the turtle is the connection of earth and water, which is our physical beingness and our feelings, our emotions, the things that make us feel alive, kind of the things that set us apart from survival. That it's not, just eating, sleeping, waking, and not being killed by a car or an animal. It's the other parts, the things that make us ambitious and want to be human here on earth. So that's the idea behind the turtle itself. Also, that turtle carries earth energy, or the earth herself, on her back. And then the shell, the protective shell around her, is to protect your energy, making sure that you have solid boundaries, ways to keep yourself focused on these things, ways to not let your energy leach out into other people's goals, other people's ideas, other people's agendas. And that could be very personal. That could be people around you. It could be your workplace. It could be the government itself, like the bigger person or man out there. And then moving down into, let's see, where do we go? Into staying grounded, remembering that it's important to stay right here on earth, because if you don't have that mailbox, where's all of this beauty? Where are all the blessings going to be delivered? You need to stay grounded in your body. Your body is a very important vehicle. It is the thing that makes you here. It makes you be in existence. Our soul is eternal. It is vast. It is connected to all that is. But your body is the thing that makes you be here in this present time. So use your body, treat it well, walk with it, do yoga, exercise, drum, whatever it is that makes you feel grounded and down into your body. And remember that the pace of all of this is slow and steady. There is no such thing as, there's really no such thing as time, if you think about it. I mean, time is an illusion. It's something that's created by man, but the soul doesn't understand time. If we aren't accomplishing something by the end of this year, it doesn't mean that it's not coming. Our time frame and the time frame of spirit are often really different. And I think that what I do to remind myself of this sometimes too is to remember that nothing that is meant for me will miss me. Nothing ever. And the things that I'm experiencing are all there for a reason. Even if I don't understand why they're there to help me grow. So slow and steady, just take it easy. Take a deep breath, calm down. Don't let anxiety about the future get in your way. Don't let depression or regrets about the past get in your way. Slow and steady, stay grounded in this moment. And then I think from there we popped up to stay high vibrational, which, if you remember, was all the things that keep you high vibing: the music, the people, the foods, the exercise, breathing. Breathing is something that, like, inspiration is inspiring. So breathing fully, as soon as we kind of get too lazy or dark or still, our breath kind of gets a little shallow. So move your body, be big, expansive, sing, breathe, talk. And then at the same time that we're being high vibrational, we might remember that mantras are really helpful. Mantras, prayer, taking time to speak out into the reality, what you already know you are. So I am free. I am prosperous. I enjoy abundance in love. Things like that, speaking them out into the universe, and then remembering that gratitude is the highest vibrational thing. If you can even just be grateful. I mean, I take walks through a local park that I love with my dog, and I actually talk to the trees when there's no one around. And I tell them, like, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for holding that soil in place and for bringing me shade on this super hot day. And thank you to each leaf for bringing me the oxygen that I am breathing in. And thank you for taking the carbon monoxide out of me and using it, and it's just thanking everything, thanking the ground that you walk on, thanking the table that your computer is sitting on, the wood, before you eat, being grateful for all of the hands that went into bringing that food to your table. Every ounce of water that allowed the plants to grow that you're putting in your mouth, the lettuce, the strawberries, the blueberries, the cantaloupe, the broccoli, the sunshine, the fresh air. I mean, there's so much to be grateful for in any given moment. And that high vibration is met with gratitude. Like they're interchangeable here. Like when you are in gratitude, you're high vibrational. Knowing what keeps you high vibrational, the other side of the coin is knowing what brings down your vibe, and remembering to use these boundaries to make sure that you're eliminating what brings down your vibration, listening and paying really good attention to your feelings so that you can use them as guideposts, not to shame yourself, not to keep yourself in judgment, but remembering that all feelings are valid, everything is important, and they are signposts, they are indicators. It is one of our greatest gifts. And as an empath, somebody who feels deeply, I feel my own energy, my own feelings, as well as the people around me. So if I can tune in to feelings and emotions of people, gosh, I learn a lot about them. I learn a lot about what's going on in a room, what's going on in our political climate. My empathic abilities, I used to think were this like thing to be damned, and now I understand that they are just like, I am like gifted in that way. And so the way that some people are mechanically or mathematically gifted, I am emotionally gifted in that way. I'm gifted in feeling energy, and understanding that, which helps to really inform me about things that end up creating, I believe, a sense of like wisdom inside of me. Instead of just knowledge, it's like knowingness, like wisdom inside of me. And then the final part there is just my ho'oponopono that I use to clear away any blocks, any old data, any ego to the things that I wish to accomplish. And those are blocks that I might see in myself or in other people. But that's a whole other class that I can try to teach you a little bit about what I learned if you'd like to do that in the future. Um, so I hope that you'll remember that your union between you and your God, your divinity, is the thing that we are sort of striving for. All of the things that we are putting into this shell, all the things that you're going to draw on there, or if you're going to use clip art from your computer, or cutting and pasting from magazines, or just words, or whatever you're going to do to represent the things that you want to manifest in your life. The reason you are putting them there is because you believe that they're going to get you closer to God. And while we can create a connection to God without those things, I believe that they're kind of interchangeable. Your connection to God will bring these to you, is what will happen. The closer you are to your godlikeness, your goddess, the more easily you'll be able to access the things that you most desire. So I hope that you enjoy this little presentation and that you'll use this graphic. If you ever want to do any more work in any of these areas, if you want yoga for staying grounded, if you want help with, um, creating mantras and a practice of gratitude each day, or meditation, I can guide you through that and teach you some mindfulness activities. If you want to know what brings you down, I mean, sometimes it's a matter of diving into our past to realize what patterns we've created and where those came from, and healing old generational wounds or situations that have happened to you in the past that need to be recognized so they can be released. And in releasing them, it helps us to be a better vibrational match for the things that we do want, which was originally part of the very beginning of my journey with this work, was that I wanted things and I didn't understand how to make myself a vibrational match to them, because there was so much holding me down, like so much holding me back, that was part of my past that I was carrying with me into each breathing moment. And so if I was carrying that heavier vibration with me, there was no way that I was going to be able to rise up and stay. I mean, I could rise up occasionally, but to rise up and stay at a high vibration, it was like there was too much weight carrying me down. So if you want help with any of those things, let me know. You can visit my website, elevatewithnicole.com. And I wish you the very best, a blessed day. I send you love, a lot of love, because this life journey is incredible. It's just an amazing thing that we've all entered into. And so from me to you, namaste. Have a great day, everyone.